It's a beautiful morning here in Central Park, New York. Welcome to another episode of Inside Athletics, brought to you by the IAAF. I'm your host, Atto Bolden, and we present to you today our long-awaited interview with Great Britain's star of the 400-meter dash, Christina Hourogou. It is my pleasure to welcome our guest, Christina Hourogou, to Inside Athletics. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Let me tell you, I have been wanting to have you on this show since I started. Why? Because I can't think of another Olympic, world, and Commonwealth champion whom the track and field public knows less about. It seems like you're almost like the anonymous champion. Is that part of your personality, or is that by design?
I think it's not really something I do deliberately. It's just how I am. I just train and literally go home. That's my life. I have a big family at home, so that kind of keeps me busy.
Yeah.
And that's what I enjoy. I don't really, for me, lights and hype don't really mean very much. It's kind of the smaller things that really mean a lot more to me.
Let's talk about that big family. You're one of 8?
Yeah.
Does that help or hurt for a track and field career? It has to help, right?
Yeah, I think, growing up in a big family, you have to, you gain certain skills, and I think that's something that definitely has helped me a lot. I think you've always been taught to be pretty responsible and very disciplined. I'm the oldest. Well, not the oldest. I'm the oldest girl in the family, and in our culture, that comes with a lot of responsibility. So it's naturally ingrained to kind of have some kind of discipline and organisation, all those kind of things. So it's not training and competing. It's not really difficult because that mentality has been driven into my head since the time I was young.
And you talked about your culture. Your family is Nigerian.
Yeah.
What is it about the Nigerian culture that you think you have pulled from that has made you a champion?
Well, I think that's a hard question. I think just probably the way I've been raised. Very hardworking. I think. I say uncompromising to a degree, but I think at the same time, having a big family, you kind of have to learn to compromise.
Right.
I mean, in my life, that's been quite difficult, being able to strike a balance. Like for now, my little sister runs, and so I'm trying to obviously focus on what I'm doing, but at the same time, I have to help her. Any way I can help her be her best, I'm going to do it. So it kind of means I'm running around a little bit.
Right.
But I think probably the most noticeable characteristics will be kind of hardworking and very unrelenting, very stubborn. My dad is very stubborn, which I think I get.
A stubborn Nigerian man. Wow, that's unique.
See.
So let's talk about London for a little bit. But I don't think there was any Olympic athlete that grew up any closer to where that stadium was.
Yeah.
Right? Were you under more pressure than the average British athlete because the Olympics were happening literally in your backyard?
Not really. I say that because I didn't make it an issue. I didn't make that pressure problem. They did, but I choose not to listen to them. Everybody knows that.
Right, yeah.
Everybody knows I don't pay them any mind. It could have been a problem, but I think I decided not to make it an issue. When I was going to train or warm up at the warm-up track, I think it was only then it hit me that, oh my gosh, this is actually in my hometown. I couldn't believe it, but you could never tell that it was in Stratford because of the way it looked so...
It transformed.
Yeah, it looked so international. It didn't look like East London that I grew up in. So, while I was preparing for the games, I never recalled the fact that it would be in my hometown. I never even factored that into my head. I knew it was coming, but for me it was just another Olympic Games. I had to do well, and that was all I had in my mind. You have gold and silver from the last 2 Olympic Games. Is there a part of you, 1% of you maybe, that says, you know what though, I would have liked to be part of the Rutherford and that night when all the Brits were winning all the medals, and I trade my my medals from Beijing to London. Is there a part of you that ever said that? I think initially coming off the track, I was disappointed, and it was something I couldn't hide. I couldn't hide my bitter disappointment. I mean, even everybody was happy and whatever, but it wasn't because it was so much I wanted to win gold. It was so much I just wanted to defend my title.
Yes.
It wasn't so much the winning. It was the fact that I just wanted to do the best job I could. The best job I could was to win a gold medal. But I think on reflection, I went back and I thought, you know what? The last 3 years was hard work. You know, it was very, very hard work. The year before that, 2011, was probably the hardest year I've ever had in my career. So I thought, you know, I did a good job. I think the silver medal means a lot more to me than the gold in Beijing.
Why is that?
I just think because I literally had to pull myself from the bottom of the bottomless pit to be fit enough and to be healthy enough, to be mentally prepared enough to go out and be in a good enough position to defend my title. That was my key, just to be in a good enough position to defend my title.
Not to mention the pressure at home.
Exactly. I think Beijing, when I won that, I was on a roll. I'd won in 06, won in 07. Maybe I didn't quite realise the significance of winning. Yes. But I think for 2012, I really had to work. I really had to really dig, deep and just make sure that once I got on the line, I was in good form. I knew I could win, but for me, the most important thing was just being in good form to defend, being in good form to fight, having all your weapons to fight. It wasn't. But I think once you realise you were that close, and you think, oh damn.
Now you've had a change in your strategy this year. Now usually we know, I mean certainly as broadcasters we know, expect to see Chrissy maybe once or twice before the championship, and then she'll show up to the championship, but she'll be ready. This year you're running everywhere. Why?
Yeah, I think this season, for me, every year has always been a little bit different, every year. And it's never been easy to try and use a template of last year to work. It's never been that easy. Every year has been one upset, drama or another. So I've always had to work with what we've had. 7, I didn't get any races at all until, I had to. And then 2008, we thought, okay, it's Olympic Games. Let's not try and upset the program too much. Let's stick with what we know. 2009, I think I tried to compete, but then I got hurt again.
Right.
And 2010 got hurt. So every year has always been a little bit different. So, but this is probably the only year, or the first year I've had where I've been, I've had a good catapult into the season. Last year was a good year. I've had a good winter, and it's almost like go out and enjoy yourself. Go out and just work on your trade. Go out and see the goals that you see. Running what you do week in, week out, go and join them. So it wasn't so much that I'm running here than everywhere. I'm trying to do what I ideally would have liked to do if I had all the opportunity to do it, if you get what I mean. Every year it's just been different. So it's just going out and, my coach calls it enjoying myself. I call it stress.
Can you ever really enjoy a quarter mile?
That's what we're trying to work out. I don't think you can.
No, I don't think so either. I started in the quarter. I think I agree with you on that one.
I don't think you can ever enjoy it.
You've been around for a while, and yet I feel like just in sitting and talking to you, I've learned so much more about you now. Thank you for joining me on Inside Athletics. All the best for you for 2013 and beyond.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Our thanks to Christine for joining us. Now, Christine is headed west to Eugene, Oregon, and the Prefontaine Classic. That's this coming Saturday, the next stop on the Diamond League circuit. In that race, she's going to come up against America's Sonia Richards-Ross, as well as Botswana's Amantle Mancho, the reigning world champion. In fact, between the three of them, they have won the last 3 world titles and the last 2 Olympic titles in this event. So that's going to be one of the races to watch. If you live in the United States, you can catch me on NBC covering it for the US audience. If you want to reach us on Twitter, @InsideATH, on Facebook at facebook.com/World Athletics Club, and via email at insideathletics@IAAF.org. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Inside Athletics. We'll see you next time.